There are two constants in life, death and taxes. Avoiding the latter tends to lead to the former. The IRS does not play games. For those who want their own power outside of the constant looming threat of the government, the simple answer is crime. If you create your own power system, then you can impose that power separate from other governing bodies. Of course, that's not without its own consequences and makes you a target. In addition, you can't just do what the feds do in basic terms. You need to have the risky stuff that others won't touch, such as gambling, drinking, and another form of violence to challenge the authorities. High risk, high reward. There's a strong allure from independence and strength, but the federal government isn't just going to let it happen. Who wants to roll the dice regardless and see if it works out? Welcome to the Grey Wall Brokerage. Everyone works for us eventually. Any patronage is appreciated, so feel free to drop a like, share, or subscribe. Feel free to suggest any subjects you would like to see in the comments below. Before we get into it, two quick shoutouts. First, the Yamato reskin mod was made by Kirill Senzu, and you can pick up said mod on Game Banana. This is not the default skin, but when it looks as good as it does and makes her look much more in line with the aesthetics of the cursed apple, it's hard not to appreciate how much it brings to the table. Second, the artist for the thumbnail, Soap, is also the writer for the hit fanfic Ambition. A month leading up to the eclipse, dozens of New Yorkers report hearing voices in their head. Pocket goes back home for a chance to hear one too. While the main draw is Pocket Knife, the fantastic dialogue, great pacing, and differing perspectives of every hero currently released give something for everyone to chew on. Viewer discretion is advised for violence. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Despite the current power struggles in New York, Kaori is the leader of Seventh Moon. The inheritors of a crime family, her and her brother were making plans to expand outwards to the United States from Japan. Her brother, whose name is Yamato, was meant to make the expansion stateside and lead it from there. In the meantime, Kaori would keep things running in Japan. Unfortunately for her, tensions within the group ran high and infighting was abound. At the cost of his life, Yamato protected his sister and the Loyalists, allowing them to escape to the United States. When the remaining parts of Seventh Moon met up with their contact in the US, the contact wasn't familiar with Japanese names, so Kaori was called Yamato. It was a bit hard to communicate that there was a mutiny before you get stateside, so instead of saying otherwise, she took her brother's name in his honor and kept going. Making the expansion with him was now impossible, but she can do it in his memory instead. The Ritual is a fantastic place to rebuild a criminal empire, and it's not like there wasn't a presence stateside beforehand. Due to the savior of Spanish Harlem, the Mendoza Syndicate was taken down. As a result, there's a bit of a power vacuum for her to insert the Seventh Moon into. The legacy of the Seventh Moon casts a long shadow, and it must weigh on her, especially because the sword she wields is old. Specifics are unclear, but let's go with several generations as a guess and leave it at that.
Forgive my ignorance, Yamato, but is that sword an heirloom?
It is.
How old?
Very.
Can you elaborate?
No.
With how much emphasis Yamato puts upon family, there's clearly more at stake here than the baseline, I want my own power separate from the government. This is organized crime, of course. If you lost your footing, you're liable to be bumped off so someone stronger would take your place. That's how it always was. However, this is your family's legacy. Japan as a culture places a very heavy emphasis on respect, especially towards one's elders. If Yamato doesn't win the ritual, she'd likely slit her belly in recompense, if she wasn't already dead by that point. Either the Seventh Moon becomes rulers of the New York underworld or dies at its weakest point. It's an uphill battle, to be sure, but one that needs to be done regardless. It's too important to fail. However, there is rather stiff competition within New York. Trying to muscle into its already seedy underbelly is going to be a rather hard challenge. Wraith's gambling ring is already rather established as is, and she'd only let go of it when she's dead. It's too much fun otherwise. Getting money hand over fist and having control over parts of the city is valuable, yeah, but she's doing this more for the love of the game. Entering the ritual is a little bit of butter on top of an already delicious set of pancakes. Winning here cements her already strong position and allows her to start stretching her influence further into the roots of NYC. That's more of a bonus though. Wraith is here because frankly, gambling is fun.
You look nervous.
Anyone who says they aren't nervous when the stakes are high are either liars or morons.
I thought you were some big gambler.
That's why I do it. Nerves let you know you're alive.
If you had to describe Wraith in as few words as possible, I would go with gleeful hedonist. There aren't many moral bridges she wouldn't cross for the sake of her ambitions. She is also remarkably open about this sort of thing as well. Very few people would ever cross the serial-killing vampire drifter. Dude is a legend, and is wanted dead by every single barony out there. You hear whispers on the wind of his brutality and menace. Everyone else thinks it's best to stay away. Wraith takes a different approach.
You like to gamble, right, Wraith?
I know where you're going with this. Here's the problem with gambling on body counts with you. You're a psychotic killing machine, which means if I incentivize you to kill more on top of that, there's a non-zero chance that you don't finish the ritual because you want to pad your numbers.
You really thought this through?
I really wanted to make it work.
Thanks for considering it.
While it didn't work out logistically, she is still proposing a serial killer to a murder contest. Regardless of who, she's aiming to get people into her good graces. She tries to get Vindicta to assassinate people for her. In fairness, with how well Vindicta is tearing apart the Friends of Humanity as is, not an unexpected ask. It's more that she's trying to get a ghost whose sole purpose in life is revenge to work for her. I can see the vision, but also one wrong word in negotiations and more than likely that rifle might end up pointed towards you. Vindicta is wise in not heeding Wraith's advice, especially because she outright tells Billy she's cozying up to him to get him in her debt.
Vindicta, the people you're assassinating.
The monsters I'm putting down?
Yeah, you don't have to equivocate with me. I don't care. You're killing them out of principle, right?
Correct.
Have you considered killing people for money? Because boy, do I have a list for you.
I have not.
You should. I think you'd be great at it. Anyway, you ever want to chat about financial freedom? You let me know. What do you do for fun?
What?
What do you do for fun? I mean, you say you hate everything, but there has to be something.
Don't act like you want to get to know me.
I do.
Bullshit.
I really do.
Why?
So we can find common ground, share some laughs, bet on sports games, then hold markers when you can't cover them. It's a whole thing, but it starts with building a connection, you know?
Wraith is loyal to two things, power and thrills. If you can't give her both or either, then get out of her sight or get working on a way to get her some. It's very traditional New York mobster, especially when Yamato, for all of her faults, and trust me, there's quite a few of them, is doing this out of a sense of familial justice and honor. There's much more at stake than whether she gets an adrenaline rush. Wraith just wants to have fun. In contrast to this purely utilitarian and self-centered worldview, Yamato can at least recognize when somebody is worth respecting.
You are old.
How observant.
That wasn't an insult.
Please accept my apology.
No one builds an empire without sacrifice. Friends are just acquaintances you feel bad for extorting.
Wraith's operation seems much more akin to a house of cards compared to the Seventh Moon's much more traditional outlook. There is honor even among thieves, as they say. Both are engaging in illegal practices, but Yamato is doing this for a much higher reason. It's family. There's much more of a backing in respect. This is unconfirmed for Seventh Moon in particular, but some outfits will disallow hard drugs that will affect you a little bit too much. If some people take something they're not particularly prepared to suffer the consequences of, or is a bit stronger than expected, their lives can go down the shitter exceedingly fast. Wraith would consider that a consequence of the business, and not think of it in any greater terms. Shit happens! That's just how life is. If something bad is happening to somebody else, who cares what the consequences are at the end of the day? If it's not benefiting you, what's the point?
Mister of the game, just sell the damn book already. Yeah, wrong hands, blah blah. Abe, you're not the chosen one. You're just a guy who was dealt a bad hand. Dump the book and get your life back.
Listen, even if it is a dangerous, cursed tome that's a problem for wider society, and you've nearly died protecting it, just dump it and get your life back. Everyone else can deal with the fallout. She's a rather brutal and unforgiving woman, but unless you provoke her ire, she'll do the best she can to keep that on the down low.
Wraith, you're a killer, right?
I mean, I've killed people, but it's not like a recreational thing for me.
So, yes. Anyway, a professional question for you.
Again, not a professional.
In your line of work, do people end up dead?
Oh, yeah.
Because of you?
I am often adjacent, yes.
They're close enough. The point is, if I hold someone in a black hole, are you okay with shooting them?
Honey, I got you covered. Don't worry.
While she is doing this for the sake of, let's go gambling, it does also have a more practical use in inspiring fear. She's more than willing to get her hands dirty if need be, and you are expendable if it suits her.
I'm surprised you're getting your hands dirty. I thought someone like you would send out goons to do the messy work.
I I believe in leading by example.
So do I.
Oh, great. I'm with the paper gangster.
What did you call me?
Lady, you don't want to be a crime lord. You want to be a mayor. And while you're kissing babies, the seventh moon is going to eat your lunch.
Oh, you're a fan of the seventh moon.
Easy, easy. I didn't say that.
That's what I thought.
The people working for her take some exception to this. The tunnel rats Mo and Krill are well-meaning people but are still criminal smugglers. Maurice, a giant mole, is the one who makes the tunnels, while Krill helps facilitate the exchange of goods. As one would suspect, getting on the bad side of a giant mole typically leads to disastrous consequences. Wraith took a shine to them, got them under her thumb, and continued the friendship from there. Compared to their employer's pure pragmatism, these guys still have humility, honor, and humanity. They're in this for profit, don't get me wrong, but they also want to help out others.
Gentlemen, you're both well-connected individuals, right?
We have lived quite the life, yes.
My anniversary is coming up, and I was really hoping to get Marla something special.
What are you thinking? Jewels, fine art, Ixian trinkets?
She's a big reader, so I was thinking a rare book.
My friend, what if I told you I knew someone looking to move a first edition Don Quixote?
I would be very excited, then remind you that I have a teacher's salary.
That does make it a challenge, but one I gladly accept. I will find you options.
If we fail today, can you help me track someone down?
Traditionally, we deal with objects more than people, but for you, we'd be happy to ask some questions.
In addition, after the attempted murder of Aaron Fairfax, aka Pocket, Mo and Krill provided the would-be heir with some amount of shelter. I doubt anyone told them they needed to do it, but did it regardless. Listen, they aren't good people all the time, but compared to Wraith, they're practically saints. They're brought together by friendship as their leading reason. Krill even has a 31-chapter memoir chronicling their adventures together. If anyone exemplifies honor among thieves, it's them.
How you guys doing?
Not bad. Work is interesting and violent. I'm almost trying his paws at pottery. I'm 31 chapters into my memoir.
Memoir?
My friend, if I died before I got to tell the world of our adventures, it would be a far greater crime than any we've committed.
With that being said, they're still thieves. In addition to stealing from Kelvin's Ixia collection, they did a lot of business for the now-defunct Mendoza syndicate that once terrorized Spanish Harlem.
I actually moved quite a few pieces from your Ixian expedition.
Wait, the ones that were stolen?
Certainly not the ones that are still in the Met. Yet. You're the gargoyle that rode Mendoza out on a rail, yes?
Pretty much.
He was a good client.
He was a bad man.
They're not mutually exclusive.
For these men, crime is much more about freedom and adventure rather than power. They'll help who they want to help and hurt who they want to hurt. Wraith is holding a debt over their heads they need to repay. But at the same time, they are friends, and all parties seem to understand that as well. Of course, they owe her money, but they attend the weekly poker game she runs. They value loyalty highly, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were to fight solely upon others' behalf for any number of things. Perhaps understanding of others is the main point I'm getting at more than anything else. They have their own way, but can still respect the paths others have chosen in life.
Wraith, if things go bad and we...
Boys, we don't talk about losing at the table.
I'm serious. Friends come rarely in our line of work, and it's an honor to be counted amongst yours.
Feelings mutual. Now let's summon a god.
You look good, Fern.
Thanks.
How's Hank doing? I heard the bar is going through a transitional period.
He's nervous, but Jezebel's an institution. We won't let it close without a fight.
If there's anything we can do, let us know.
You already doing it, brother.
Even though he left that life behind, Infernus is still friends with some of the seedier elements of NYC. With that being said, he is trying his best to keep on the straight and narrow. We don't quite have the specifics of what all he did as a younger Firestarter, but he got up to quite a lot of mischief. He regrets a good amount of what he did, given his current tenure and reason for joining the ritual, but we can speculate with what we currently have. He was a former enforcer for Mendoza, and likely did something terrible to Miss Shelley, Bebop's creator.
Can't believe Mendoza replaced me with someone like her. You worked at the scrapyard, right? The one the old lady runs?
That's right.
How's she doing?
I didn't realize you two were acquainted.
We're not. I just wanted to make sure she's doing okay.
She's been better.
Sorry to hear that.
The terrible thing that happened to Miss Shelley could be any of Infernus killed her husband, caused her illness, or did something in the junkyard. What we do know for certain is that Hank, the current owner of Jezebel's, saved his life. After the event, Infernus decided he wanted to live above board instead of solely in crime. His entire purpose in being at the ritual is so he can save his friend's bar, a rather noble turn in his life, as commented upon even by law enforcement. He also has a possible relationship with Holiday going forwards. This is Holiday, the I won't stop until I kill the troubadour lady. The lady whose life has been turned upside down in the past 6 months. Ivy can't break her facade sometimes, but she's more than willing to give Infernus praise.
What you're doing is noble.
Excuse me?
Helping your friend. It's noble.
Oh, you do the same for me.
Bet you had quite the life before you became a bartender.
I'm not sure the statute of limitations lets me answer that question, honestly.
You're not in my jurisdiction.
How about when this is over, we have a chat at the bar?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a date.
Despite his criminal past, he is very, very confident in his current path in life. Does the ritual use the current set of skills he tried to throw away? Yes, but this is much more about redeeming the past as opposed to forgetting it. He's not just some fire starter making mischief for the sake of it. This is fighting for the man who saved you. Who cares if others call you muzzled or if you still missed a little? Infernus understands that he is doing this for his friend first and foremost. The people trying to bring him back into the fold aren't exactly good people anyway. You have to figure out what's most important to you and focus on helping those who are helping you. Relationships are a two-way street, and if they're not giving you a good reason to keep being their friend, you don't and shouldn't put up with it.
All your power you wasted as a bartender?
I mean, choosing a different life for myself isn't a waste. It's the best thing I ever did.
Do you miss it?
Excuse me?
The life you had before you put yourself in a muzzle. Do you miss it?
Not everyone likes killing people, Seven.
Please, I don't like murder. I'm indifferent to it.
Infernus used to be hard, now he's just a bitch slinging Mary Pickfords to other bitches. Oh my god, don't tell him I said that.
I mean, when the mass-murdering convict wanted for obliterating the world's best ritualist, and the career criminal, who can barely stay alive without resulting in the murder for a hot meal, are telling you you've messed up, you're obviously 100% wrong on everything. However, what if it's a softer touch in terms of relationship? Seven and Viper aren't exactly close to the man. However, it seems Wraith had much more of a presence in his life beforehand. It's clear that it was close to his heart. Whether romantic or more platonic, Wraith knew what Infernus was like before and understands his less than desirable impulses, his current self would say. Who wants to be on the safe and boring path in life? Burning things down, causing chaos at your own discretion, and ruling the streets with an iron fist. Isn't that what you want out of life? When Infernus says that going on the straight and narrow was the best thing he ever did for himself, it seems like he doesn't fully believe it.
How's working at the boring bar?
Legal doesn't mean boring.
Kinda does.
Hank's a good man.
He is. A good, boring man.
Fern, haven't seen you at the game in a while.
I think it's best I keep my distance from Wraith.
Afraid she'll want to pull you back in?
I know she wants to pull me back in. I'm afraid I'll listen.
It's okay, you can say it.
Say what?
That you miss me.
I don't.
Practice that line more, so next time you say it, I might believe you.
Despite his control of fire, he seems to be constantly drowning in his past decisions and is unsure if he can hold out. What needs to ground him in his time of strife is his friends first and foremost. Wraith is only ever out for herself in all of this and has made that clear very often. She comes first in all of her actions and there's no space for anyone else. Mo and Krill, while they do have markers on them, are doing this for their friends, functionally. While not exactly upstanding, they recognize the value in the new path of Infernus' life. They aren't telling him to come back and make some money on the side to make ends meet and possibly forge some connections to have the Alchemy Bureau look the other way for a bit. Which way Fern's life goes is up to him, so they'll do the best they can to help him out. It's his choice. Wraith, however, is just using her previously established rapport with him to try and get him dancing to her tune again. Consequences of her actions are meant to support her going forwards. Who cares what happens to the rest of the world? If Infernus doesn't want to come back, then she'll just have to push him until he breaks or leaves. Regardless, she'll be able to sweep up the pieces and continue onwards. While I did claim that Infernus was saying he didn't want to come back as a way to hype himself up, I think it's also true that I gave him credit for. When you know Wraith, who is constantly and unregrettably self-centered, who unabashedly tramples over others for her own goals, and Hank gives you a path out of that life, why wouldn't you take it? Perhaps Wraith is also projecting here. She wants Infernus to come back. There's a non-zero chance he does, mind you, but he left in the first place and she knows it. Wraith is a gambler by nature, so why wouldn't she be playing with fire by prodding somebody out of the game to try and get him back into it? He is rather comfortable in his current situation, and is a generous person given how he interacts with Dynamo and Viscus.
May I ask a favor, Infernus?
Sure. We survived this. I figure I owe you one.
I was thinking of buying a hat, and I would love it if you'd join me at the haberdashery.
Professor, you don't gotta waste a favor on that. I got you. Well, how you like in New York?
People watching is fun.
You should stop by Jezebel sometime. If you like people watching, you'll see all types there.
What's that?
The bar my buddy Hank owns.
Why isn't it called Hank's?
Long story. I'll tell you later.
Interestingly enough, despite Wraith having a great understanding of others and how best to manipulate them, she seems to forget her own limitations. Infernus understood them when his life was saved and he tried working on fixing them. Mo and Krill rely on each other as is. They're a package deal. Fundamentally, they both understand that if the other wasn't with them, they would be in a rather tough position. Without others to rely upon, your goals are significantly harder to achieve. Yamato is acutely aware of this. Wraith, however, she stands alone. She's got markers on plenty of people, sure, but anyone anywhere could be the one who thrusts a knife into her back. On a fundamental level, she trusts no one and no one trusts her back. Wraith thrust herself onto a razor's edge and has made peace with that fact. People are tools to be used.
We don't have time for cynicism today, Wraith.
I'm not cynical.
I've seen the contempt you have for your fellow man.
You say contempt. I say managed expectations.
I couldn't help but overhear one of my students mention that she frequents your establishment.
This may surprise you, Professor, but college kids like to have fun.
Indeed they do. They also don't have fully formed brains, and if I find out you are taking advantage of that, I will take it personally.
Okay, Dad.
Tread carefully, Wraith.
Infernus, despite his fiery appearance, will likely die in the comfort of loved ones and some semblance of peace. Wraith, however, chose the path of violence. While Infernus quit while he was ahead, understood that he'd either be dead once his body couldn't keep up, or eventually a shell of his former self, Wraith revels in it. It's where she's meant to be. If she dies early, who cares? This was all a part of the game anyway. Play with fire, die by fire. More so than anyone else participating in the ritual, she will ruin your life if you let her. Obviously others will kill you. Drifter, calm down. But she would do it with style after reducing your funds to pennies on the dollar as you're crawling back for any amount of mercy. Those who cloak themselves in virtue are those who most participate in vice. It doesn't matter if others' lives are ruined or if they want something better, she'll drag them down so she can stand atop whatever remains of them. Infernus knows what she's about.
You're new here, right?
Yep.
Can I give you some advice?
Sure.
If Wraith invites you to play cards, say no.
But that would be rude.
Trust me.
Infernus got out because he understood that crime, while it does pay in the short term, has long-term logistical problems. With great power comes great responsibility, after all. Wraith is going through people like flies, and unless she can solidify her position of power, she'll eventually be the next one on the chopping block. Violence begets more violence, and Wraith isn't stopping anytime soon. Having a bit of risk in life is fine. A poker hand here and there ain't gonna kill anybody. But when you keep rolling the dice for long enough, something is going to slip up. Even if it's a 1 in 100 chance you die, if you roll 1,000 times, the possibility gets a lot scarier, doesn't it? Crime is playing with the idea that even if something goes wrong, you'll be able to handle it. You're better than the best of them, and this house of cards is firmly within your grasp. However, how long can you keep doing it? Obstacles will be around every corner and they won't ever stop. So can you really say for certain that it'll work out for them? Mo and Krill are satisfied with their lives that are much more pedestrian than hers because they can handle that amount of pressure and live comfortably enough with their decisions. Infernus understood he was in too deep and got out when he found the opportunity. Wraith is going to die terribly. It's more of a question of how many people are coming with her in the end. Power is a very attractive ideal, but if it ends up ruining you in the end, could you really say it was worth it? Thanks again for coming along, it's greatly appreciated. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any characters or concepts you want me to cover. Until next time, keep yourself safe out there.